when I was 18, I was in Nepal and went to see a Tibetan guy come and give a talk, and he had a translator, and I don't know, I can't remember how long he'd been in a dark cave, but his eyes were not working properly. You know, I mean, he was just like looking a bit like a blind person, sort of looking around like this, and he'd sort of just given up having eyes, really. Yes, extreme stuff. I mean, they people like that are like Olympic athletes of consciousness exploration. You know, they've just given their entire life to exploring states of consciousness. You know, sorry.
Psychonaut.
Yeah. It's psychonauts normally used in the context of psychedelic use and shamanic stuff. And as far as I know, Tibet doesn't really have a tradition of that. You know, so but they really have paved the way in charting out states of consciousness through meditation practice. Yeah, it's an amazing place. Right. Okay, so this final session is about how to integrate your meditation practice into the rest of your life. So you don't end up with this dichotomy of you're enlightened when you're sitting on your meditation cushion, and then you're totally unconscious when you get off. And one thing to say about this whole enlightenment thing is I think my feeling personally is that enlightening might be a better phrase for it. It's a verb that just keeps going. I think that people get really hung up on this enlightenment as a goal to achieve in meditation, and I think most people that have practiced meditation for a very long time, they kind of give up that as a goal. That it's not that there's no goal there. It's just an ever unfolding thing. But there's a whole discussion in there. But it's just something to flag. Right. So one of the ways that this meditation practice, where the rubber meets the road, is in your relationship with other people. And there's a really simple but powerful meditation practice that's sometimes called gazing, where you sit opposite a person and you just look them in the eye for a bit of time. We'll try, listen to that. We've actually have had rain pouring in through the stonework in the windows here. Yeah. So we'll probably do 10 minutes, and then we'll see if we want to continue, like move to another person and try it. But what's really powerful about this gazing practice?
We're doing 10 minutes of solid eye gazing. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do let's do 5 minutes to begin with, and see.
Intense.
And see, yeah. I mean, you can do this for a really long time with people, and I've even done it. Yeah. You can add a bit, yeah. We'll start with 5 minutes. See how we go. But I've done it before with. You had like A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, and then you would rotate. You'd do sort of 5 minutes looking at someone, and then you'd rotate to the next person, and you just go around the room. Yeah. I've also done longer periods of time. But so one of the things that's really powerful about this is we're sort of conditioned to think that sustained eye contact is a really uncomfortable thing, because normally there's a threat when you it's when someone's looking at you in the eye for too long. It's like, oh, what's going on here? You know, do they want something? Or and there's different types of looking as well. There's the kind of boring, you know, eagle or owl type thing, and then there's the sort of like softer gazing of just taking it in as one big scene. So getting beyond is something that we don't normally do as people because of this, you know, deep-seated biological resistance to extended eye contact. Once you get beyond that, it opens up into something really, really nice, and you sort of just feel like you're in an authentic communication with another person. I think that's hail. And also, it's a great practice for disturbing you psychologically and emotionally. So you're looking at somebody, then you start to notice how all your vulnerabilities and personal stuff start to surface. And you can see, because we're doing this in a safe container. You know, say you're at this is not the equivalent of being at a drinks party and talking to somebody and practicing it there. You can develop this practice, so when you go to a drinks party, you're kind of doing that with people. But it's not necessarily a safe container. If you were, you'd be doing it, and you can do this in a way where no one even knows you're doing it. But this is a safe place to do it. Like, we're doing this as an exercise, and we all know we're doing it, and so it's a great way, and you can take this away with you when you interact with other people in your life. You can start to notice what all the feelings that come up, insecurities, like, you know, have I got spinach in between my teeth, or there's all sorts of stuff comes up, all the stuff that we know about when you interact with people. And when you're it is intimate.
It's intimate as in it starts bringing up loads. I haven't done it that often, but I do know it's quite, because it starts bringing up things that you.
I would just like to say that I'm going to do it, but I feel really resistant to it. Like how I feel at the moment, I feel quite vulnerable. So I'm like, hence 10 minutes. Yeah,
we'll do 5. We'll do 5. We'll do 5. We'll do 5, and we'll see how it is.
I'll try
okay.
It.
Yeah. And you know, when you give permission to another person to just say, well, for 5 minutes, we're just going to look at each other, you know, and I'm just going to be me, you're going to be you, and we're just going to sit here, and I'm going to notice what stuff comes up. So the opportunity here is to notice the stuff that comes up, but also notice that you are aware of all of this stuff coming up, and the two things are not mutually exclusive. So you can be in this kind of open, uncontracted awareness that is you, and inside of you is this stuff that's coming up, and it's not a problem. You know, it's cool just as it is, and you don't need to change it. The feelings, say, oh, I don't like that uncomfortable feeling, I'm going to try and think of something else, or I want to try and change this into. You just let it come up, do its thing, and it will morph, change, and then it will go, and then something else will come up, yeah. And you're just letting the things come, bubble up, go away. The next thing comes up, and you're just sitting with that, not trying to change it, yeah. So.
What if you pick up other people's stuff? I do that sometimes. I look at someone.
Just
and
let
I'm thinking, whoa,
yeah.
I know a bit about this person that they don't know.
Let it come in and just let it go.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the the things that's really important with, say, the first type of meditation we did, and probably the one with the breathing type of meditation, is you're not trying. No, maybe it's not. It doesn't apply so much to the breathing one. The first type of meditation practice, the expansive awareness thing, you are not trying to manipulate your experience in any way. So as awareness, there is zero impulse to change the contents of your experience. And that is a really, really, really useful and beneficial perspective to be able to take in life, because otherwise you're just obsessively micromanaging your feelings and emotions and everyone else, and you know what I mean, like just busy, changing, don't like that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make life better and change things and manipulate it.
What I meant was,
but
what I meant was, if you pick up someone's energy when you're looking at them,
yeah,
that's what I mean.
and
And it reflects back on you.
Yeah.
Like
So-
mirror imaging.
Mm-hmm. So in this exercise, you are allowing that to come into your spacious awareness, and just let it be what it is.
Okay.
And it will, everything that comes moves, changes and goes. It's just the nature of phenomenon. And
So ultimately, you're saying just have no resistance to it, just allow it.
yeah, things come in and they go out. And if you leave them alone, think they do work themselves out.
So how do you apply this out in society with people around you? Would you use that technique? Would you?
Okay, so say.
I don't think I'm grasping this. Sorry, am I
yeah.
a bit thick here?
No, not at all, not at all.
Okay.
No, this is about simply being present with another person, and your own reaction to being present with another person.
Yeah.
And so let's say I'm interacting with one of my kids, and they're there. They want an authentic moment of presence from me. It's like they're trying to show me something, like they've built something out of Lego or something, and they're really proud of it, and they want me to come, and they want to feel me take in this creation of theirs, you know. And they might ask me to do that in a moment where I'm trying to think about like 10 other things. And I choose, I say, I'm going to go into this moment and interact with my son with his Lego. And even though I've got all this other stuff going on inside me, I'm going to hold the openness to this experience, this authentic relating, because there's never the perfect moment in life to when you say, well, I'm going to go and talk to that person, I'm going to have this conversation, or I'm going to go and see this person when I feel whatever, or when I haven't got to do that. There's never the perfect moment. Yeah. When you're relating with another person, there's always other things going in, and if you're able to let that be and hold your open presence there in a then
I've got you. I know.
Does that help?
Yeah. It does. Thank you. Yeah.
And-
That was perfectly put.
Yeah, it's always good to
Thank you.
it's
I'm
always
not
good to
feeling
make
thick.
use real examples
Yes.
of it. Yeah, otherwise it can sound a bit abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, another example. I don't suffer from this so much now, but when I, was a teenager, I had a lot of social anxiety. So I would be talking to somebody, and I would just be assaulted by ding, 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 all, paranoia about all sorts of things, and I got totally KO'd by it. It was just, I was floored by the intensity of all this stuff that was bing, 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 and it really got in the way of being able to relate to people, to the point where I much preferred being on my own. And that was a debilitating thing for me. I rather than having the option of being on my own or being with people, I was only really giving myself the option of being on my own. So through doing practices like this, enabled me to be in social situation with some people, and even if the paranoia thoughts and feelings were coming up inside me, to realise it's okay. They just come up, do their thing, and they go. And because I've disidentified from those things, the paranoia and the thoughts and all the whirlwinds of all of that stuff, because I'm more than those things. Yeah?
Yep. Thank you.
Cool. And I'd say, just to make this a three thing, threes are nice.
Mm-hmm.
So the third thing I'll say is, when you meet somebody and they are not paying attention to you, you're talking to them, but they are already saying what they're going to say next, and it's like they're waiting for you to shut up so they can say their thing, or you're talking to somebody and you just feel it's not getting in to them. They're not engaging with you, and there's just this kind of like in between you two is just all of this crap. And it's a very, very unfulfilling way to be with people. And you notice other people be like that, but we can all be like that ourselves. So this is about learning to have a clear and authentic relationship with people. So those are the three things I'll say about it. Okay? Cool. I wasn't saying any of those things about you. I was just happened to be there.
I was trying to really understand what you were saying.
I was just looking at you.
To go a bit deeper about
Yeah.
it, so
I think that's interesting there. I mean, I imagine that's really like how you explained it all. It's really good because it just.
I knew what you meant, but I thought I'm not sure if it does mean that. But
Yeah.
now I do.
Well, what we'll do is we'll do 5 minutes. Okay. Choose somebody you feel you're comfortable with. Okay, to do this. Normally people go through a little bit of laughing. This is kind of weird, isn't it? We look at each other and just let that go. And then. You get the thing where their face turns into an old person, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff happens, but, it's not, you're not seeing into their past lives and all that kind of stuff. So you're just sort of sitting with the weird phenomena that arise through this interaction with people. Yeah? And then it's like breaking through the sound barrier. You get beyond that into this kind of stillness, where you're just sitting with this person, you're open to them, and it's a really, really pleasant thing to do. When I got together with my wife, we did a fair bit of this when we first met, and it just got us really connected very quickly. It's like we got through a lot of the kind of awkwardness of being with somebody, and so that's just another example of a practical use of it. All right. So everybody might probably, the way the pairs are set up. Right. So it's okay to blink. It's okay to scratch your nose. Yeah. But the important thing is to just keep eye contact. Okay? Notice anything that's arising within you. Let it come up. do its thing and go. Don't try and manipulate it, just be with it. Alright? Okay. Okay. You guys can't be together. We've got to break you up. Yeah. That's alright, that's alright.
You just have such an infectious
Okay.
laugh.
There is actually such a thing as laughter meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you ought to do next.
Oh, my
So-
gosh.
So, you know, if you guys ever want to have a laugh, just look at each other.
It was like we took a ball and threw it to the other
Yeah.
one. And then it was
It's, you know, the strange thing is we do this quite a lot and we don't laugh.
Hmm.
But, you know, he started to smile and I started to laugh and I just couldn't stop.
Yeah.
There was just no end to it.
No, it's cool.
I've also done like an eye gazing thing where it was about giving and receiving. So you were like trying to send all your love to that person, like through your chest or whatever.
Hmm.
But that's quite good for like, and brings awareness of how you give and receive things. You know, some people found it really easy to give it, and some, but that's also quite nice.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah.
But it's really intense.
Yeah, I think that's probably you just have to be in the right circumstance to do that. I think with people, and if you're going to do that kind of thing out in the world in the wild with people, it can be quite weird, you know, where you feel like you're. Yeah. Anyway, but I think that with all of these things, there's a circumstance where it's the right place to go with it. I mean, I'm really in favour of doing deep, personal work, but it has to be done in the right container. For example, I did a training in something called voice dialogue, which is a psychotherapeutic technique, and there's 4 weekends in a year where you go and spend a whole weekend together with these 20 people, and you go really, really deep with them, and you show all of yourself to these people, emotionally, and but that could only be done in that with that group of people in those circumstances, and I think we should try that again, but with different people. Yeah? So you guys opposite sides of the room, maybe.
No, I did enjoy it.
And are you okay doing it again?
Yeah.
So, let's see if we can get 5 minutes. 5 minutes is quite short, I think. Do you think we could do 10?
Yeah.
That just twice a length?
I reckon you're just getting into it then.
Was I?
Yeah. Trust me, 10 minutes will be quite quick. Yeah.
5 minutes should be
Funny,
And
and
this-
I got into I was trying not to laugh because I was laughing, and then I was like, I'm just going to
It's
enjoy
very
that, and I was
distracting,
enjoying
Yeah,
the
yeah.
laughter whilst like still doing it and smiling, but I was like, no, I cannot laugh. It was nice actually to hear you laugh.
So this is the last one we'll do. We'll do something different after this. Okay? So this is Marie, just watch out for the camera and stuff. You're fine there. And so let's see. So we'll do 10 minutes this time, twice as long as what we just did. And let's see. We'll get. Yeah. So what should happen is, you get the stuff happening to begin with, but like in meditation, it just slowly quietens down until it's just very simple act of being present with another person. A bit like when you pour a glass of water, and it goes a bit cloudy because of all the bubbles and stuff, you let it sit and then it goes still after a bit, okay? See if you can notice the urge to laugh come, and see if you can let it pass through you. I know it's a difficult thing to do. And I'm not trying to make it a bad thing that you're laughing, but see if you can let the laughing come up and go. One thing you could do is breathe. Try and breathe down into your abdomen. So take your breathing out of your chest, which is where the laughter kind of comes more from. So try and breathe down into your tummy. So let's share all this stuff as a group. So, well done for doing that again. Yeah. So yeah, who wants to? Well, we'll start. Wasn't everybody share a little bit about that? So
I was just saying to Alana, sort of got really into it. First it was just getting into it, humorous or whatever, and then I was really in it to the point where it was just like, that's just me. I was just thinking it was as like collective, as a same. Do you know what I mean? So I was really focused for a long time, and then towards the end, I just had a few thoughts the same way I might if I was on my own meditating, like random things came to my mind. So I felt quite comfortable by the end of it. It's like, oh, I'm able to have those random thoughts. That must be quite.
yeah. So yeah, centered. The random things, they're not knocking you off your center.
Not knocking.
You're feeling centered at the same time.
Here doing it on my own, how I'd be breathing, and then I'd have a maybe random thought. But for the majority of it, I didn't have that because I was so intensely thinking about, like focusing on the fact that we were looking at each other. Then I stopped caring about the fact that we were looking at each other, and it started to just be more like, this is basically like that could be me looking back. Do you know what I mean? Like a kind of collective feeling.
Well, what's really interesting is when the awareness. Okay, running into the problem of the first, second, and third person languages here. Awareness is a third person. It's it language, but awareness is also your I. I with a capital I. You know, I-ness. My I-ness is absolutely looking out of my eyes is the same I-ness looking through your eyes. We don't have the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same biology, all that stuff. That's totally different. But the awareness in Tibetan Buddhism, they talk about awareness being like clear light. So this room is lit up by clear light, but we don't see the clear light because it's just illuminating everything in this room. But if we were to take away the light source, it would be totally dark. We wouldn't see anything in here. And if you pour clear light through a prism, you get the rainbow. It's an absolutely bizarre thing that within invisible light is the entire bright spectrum of the rainbow. So it's a bit like the clear light of awareness is pouring through. It's identical in all of us, but it gets poured. We're like the prism, you know. Yeah. So you can simultaneously recognise that we are actually identical on the level of pure consciousness. At the same time, we're totally different. And you can it's a massive paradox, but you don't need to try and figure it out because you are that in your direct experience. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say?
The first time was, like the second time became more deeper. I don't know if it was because it was longer. Maybe we were all just getting into it the first time. I don't know if it was because I was playing with you, and so there was this like element of humour because it was funny together. Though I was like, you know, because we know each other so well.
I think it kind of works better with people you don't know so well because you're a bit better behaved.
Exactly.
Yeah, the years ago. I did this and went straight in the deep end with everybody. We did 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And but it was with everyone chose people that they knew well, and there was one couple that just laughed for 20 minutes. So yeah,
yeah. So similar sort of thing. It was quite playful at first, and quite funny. I wasn't really laughing. I don't think, not too much. These guys were making me laugh. It was good, and then it was kind of good to have the laughter there, and then it kind of forced me to try and actually really be more centre and focus. And it's weird, I was actually like visually going to funny places at the time. I could just see the eyes and everything else around was becoming really colourful.
Mm-hmm.
It's so intensive. And then it kind of went through different emotions, you know, kind of I felt a bit sad for a while. And then she came out and it was just similar to you, calm. Yeah, difficult though. It's finding how...
You can't, yeah, it's
kind of
surprising
there, and
how
occasionally
difficult it
comes
can
back
be.
and you're like, oh yeah, I'm staring a stranger in the eyes.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, and it's okay, but
it's
nobody's
okay.
dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but there's some part of your body that's telling you to look away.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That made me think of something. No, it's gone. No. I had something to say, but it's gone. Yeah. It might come back to me.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that.
The first time it was, I think, adjusting your eyes and your ability to be able to just focus on one thing visually. My eyes were slightly watering to begin with, I think, and also the distraction with the laughing. My eyes get wandering after to see what they were doing. So that, again, practicing that, coming back to yourself, and also finding it quite difficult to know where to focus on you because of your piercings and everything. So that was quite interesting. And then when I did it with you, it was a lot easier just to focus on his eyes. Yeah, it's weird. And I think the longer time, like I say, you relax into it more. And just I went into a meditative state and just let it all go. And I actually didn't have any thoughts coming in. Yeah, it was nice, just very relaxing actually.
All of these like feelings and things that come up when you're doing this sort of thing or meditating, they're like the weather. They're weather states. Oh, it's sunny, it's raining, it's hailing. I mean, today's been a good example of it. All sorts of stuff's been going on, but the you know, you go up beyond the atmosphere, and it's always the same up there. You know, day and night. There's just one thing happening there. So, you know, within your transparent awareness are all these states coming and changing, and we get worried that a particular state is going to hang around forever. So even something like depression, so it's like you want to get it off you. It's like yuck, I can't, you know. But it always comes and goes. If you actually look at it moment to moment, you know, someone might feel they were depressed for 10 years or something, but if they were to actually carefully look in each moment, nobody's depressed non-stop for 10 years. They go in and out of it throughout the day, minute to minute, hour to hour. You know, so much of the fear of feelings is thinking it's going to go on forever.
Another interesting thing just sprung to mind when we went to Portugal on a yoga retreat, we decided to do a meditation in like the train station or something like that, and amongst all the people, and just, you know, went into a state of just being able to ignore everything that was going on around, and it was really interesting. Well, not ignore, but like be aware of it, but to still be able to do your thing without being affected by what was going on around you. It was really good.
Yeah, so much of this is about keeping your centeredness in the chaotic storm of life. And it's not, you know, denying the chaotic storm. It's holding both things together. Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
It was easier than I thought it was going to be, because, you know, I said before I felt resistant, because I've done quite a lot of eye gazing, and it can be really heavy. And I think my resistance is because you can see, so I don't know what you two felt, but like, because I'm feeling vulnerable, whatever, I didn't want to like put that onto either one of the, you know, but it was easier than I thought it was going to be. But I got more focused with Nick, I think, because of the amount of time, and it got quite trippy. So it was like I tend to focus on one eye because you can go into, because otherwise you're like, and probably with me as well, like you said, you're like, where am I looking?
Yeah.
So I just focused both times mostly on their right eye, and it was with Nick. It was like the rest of her face wasn't a thing, and my surrounding was like, it just got really, really foggy. So it was just like that part. Pretty much that was it. And at some points as well, like our breathing, I don't know if you noticed, but our breathing became synchronised, and that was really nice actually, because then what you're saying about like meditating by yourself, it was almost like then we were this one thing, and it was like I'm just looking into myself, like
One of the nice things about people sharing in a group that is what you listen to what people say, and you recognise what they're saying is true about you too, and it makes you realise we're all the same in so many ways. You know, have the similar experience of living, and you know, you can think you're the only one that has whatever, but you know, we're all you know, in this together. Thanks.
So obviously I was part of the Giggle Fest, which I just loved actually. I could feel like I could stop it, but then I was so manipulative, rather than just be with it, and I was just really loving watching Sam, and it's like he couldn't handle it. He was having to go like this, and he was going like this, and it was like a sort of 3-year-old. It was so beautiful, and it was so funny for me as well, and I knew I was contributing to it. It was just lovely. So I had no intention of ever going to force myself to laugh. It was like, I'll just be with this, which was nice. And then obviously we were working together. And what was really amazing was I also like staring at one eye, and I did mix the eyes, but I really chose the left eye. And what I noticed, you talk about the sort of old face and things like that, but I saw so many faces. At times I almost felt like it was too much. And it wasn't just faces, it was like growing, and then little, and then big, and then old, and then super young, and then pixie, and then it was just like,
I know.
And it was so real. And there was one face that stayed there, and I was like, who's that? It just stayed there looking at me, and then it shifted again. I was like, what do you mean?
You can actually also do this with yourself in the mirror.
That's me. It's just wonderful.
Well, it in a way that's like a caricature of life and the experience of being you know, like it's blown up to caricature proportions. You know, you're just tripping out with seeing all this weird stuff, and it's but it morphs into something else, and it's always changing. And you know, one of the sort of core teachings in Buddhism is that everything is impermanent, and you know, you can really become at home with that and say, okay, well, this is like, you know, who the hell's that? You know, but then that's going to turn into someone else, and it's just letting it be what it is, and
it's just so real. So you can understand. I used to work with schizophrenics. You can understand the realness of it. You know.
And it is very, you know, it's so important to have a sense of humour when you're interacting with people. You know, it's funny being with people, and it's bizarre, and you know, it's interesting, and all of that stuff.
What I found as well, we do this all the time. So at the start of every group, I'll always sit with somebody else for 2 or 3 minutes and look into their eyes. It's probably the first time I've actually done it fully. And as soon as I started laughing, that was it. I just couldn't stop. And then even with you, it was just exactly the same. I just couldn't stop laughing. And then it all became about, this is a really painful 10 minutes because I'm trying not to laugh. So, I'm sorry if I ruined that for you.
It's fine, I just went with you. So. Yeah.
My favourite moments at school were always graffitiing. I mean, not my absolute favourite, but it was some things, really fond memories are graffitiing textbooks, normally with massive cocks on them, in lessons, and showing everybody showing each other their graffitis, and because you're not allowed to laugh in a lesson, it's excruciating, but it's just the best time. Yeah, good times. There was one particular, it was a Latin book that had a werewolf in it, and every single book had a cock on it, on the werewolf, and they were all different. Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it. It was obviously these guys set us off, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, we were enjoying your laughter, and then we joined in, didn't we? So yeah, and then the second time round, when someone laughs, I laugh. So yeah, but I found it absolutely okay. I thought I'd find it a bit weird, but I did try to look through Sam's soul in his eyes. I was kind of looking through his eyes, and, trying to get the breathing again coming back in.
Yeah, you can notice that you can find your shallow breathing a little bit, and then it's like, oh yeah, just remember to breathe deeply. And they say the eyes are the window to the soul. It's an expression, and it's kind of true, and that's why we don't really like people to look in our eyes, because it's like you feel like people are looking right into you, because there's so much communication happens through the eyes. And I'm not recommending that you just open yourself up to every single lunatic out there in the world. Let their crazy energy penetrate you. It's not at all saying that. But there's an opportunity in the right context to have this kind of authentic, meditative relationship with people, and it also maps onto your relationship with life in general. It's fractals. Everything reflects on all different levels. So this is a sitting opposite a person doing this practice is a kind of fractal reflection of your relationship with life in general. Anything else?
No, I just enjoyed the laughter though.
Cool. No, it's good. It was good.
It's therapeutic to laugh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I found the 5 minutes sort of just getting into it. So every time I think in the past we were laughing mainly, and all I could see is the blackbird and you looking off that way. So it was just quite funny.
Yeah.
But I think the time I got to you was 10 minutes, so we got the laughs out of the way, and then I went really into my breathing then, and I just more left eye gazing, but would go to the right. But it's like I could see like different faces, and I felt quite calm and still for it, and just feel feelings, and a ray of feelings came up, and then they went quite quick. But it's like you said, I saw the eye as well, and like everything was like really cloudy, but I saw like a lot, and your eyes changed as well, so yeah, it's quite a good experience.
Cool.
I enjoyed that.
Good. I'm
the
glad.
laughing makes it as well, doesn't it? And then and it's like until you said that you used to breathe through the laugh, and then I could breathe through it, and it wouldn't, it's just like, oh, this is quite deep actually. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. I feel like I can be more disciplined with someone else than with myself. So like if things started to come up, I could like bring it back to just being with that person. Whereas on my own, if like random thought pops up, I think I'm more tempted to go with it. I can run off with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the other person's a prompt to remind you, oh, we're doing something here.
Yeah.
Whereas you can, when you're on your own, you can just get lost in it. One of my favourite little meditation exercises is called headlessness, and it's a really good book written by a guy called Douglas Harding, in English, but he's dead now. But it's called Zen and the Art of Headlessness, and we just got 5 minutes left before we finish, And this headlessness thing is quite a nice thing to do with people. Has anyone come across this before?
No, I've heard the book, and I think Sam Harris mentions it in his book.
Yeah, Sam Harris has referred to it a bit. Yeah, it's a good book. So it's a short one. So let's just do this as an exercise to finish with. Okay. So again, approach this like a child just doing a game. We're just doing a game here. You know, you don't have to take this seriously. It's just it is actually a very serious thing, but we're just playing a game here. Just go with the game and see what it does for you. It might, some people, this really like sets off some kind of realization, but don't worry about it if it doesn't. So, point out at something in the room, like point at a chair. Okay, so you are pointing, there's your finger pointing at a thing out there. There's a chair. Okay? Now point to your foot. So you're clearly pointing at your foot, which is a thing out there. Your hand is pointing to something out there, and it's a thing, your foot. Now point at your chest. And again, you're pointing at something, a chest. And now point directly where your head is supposed to be. And you'll notice that you are actually not pointing at anything. You're pointing to an empty space. I'm not talking about your transparent nose, okay? Behind the nose, there's nothing there. It's just a space on top of your shoulders, and inside that space is this entire room. So you've lost a head and you've gained the world inside the place where your head is supposed to be. And now you can just drop your finger, don't look at anybody, just look straight ahead and feel this whole room inside where your head is supposedly. And you don't have two eyes here. It's like as if your head is a single eye. That's it. So you will never see your own head unless you look in. If you look in a mirror, you're looking at your head there.
Yeah.
But you cannot see your own head. You'll never see your own head. And so from your first person perspective, you will never see your own head your entire life. So it's a way of feeling the world inside yourself. From a third person perspective, we all know we have heads. But from a first person singular perspective, you never see your own head your whole life.
Sad. It brings sadness, like, oh my God, I'll never see that.
No. Well, you can look in a mirror,
Yeah, I know.
but that's not seeing from 0 centimetres from where you've...
Yeah.
From
it's
0
not-
centimetres, you'll never see your own
not
head.
the
It's
same
not real though, is it?
No, it's not the same thing.
So
No.
it's
No.
just- and yet I know what I look like as
Mm.
much as I know what I look like.
Mm.
That's weird when you live like
But it's a kind of like a little way of creating a state experience of the transparent. That, you know, your head becomes like this, but not. Remember, it's not dead piece of glass. It's awake, full of all of this lovely stuff inside. So on that note, we'll leave it there. Ring a bell to. Wrong bit of the stick. There we go.